Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. So this time, what I'd like to talk about is that some immigrants, even immigrants can succeed, which means the local can succeed. So, but this is what I believe, or this is what I think, because as you know, some immigrants can work hard, and some local people do not work, or some local people even do not have jobs, which is why there are some differences created by them, like some immigrants work hard, and some local people do not work, and that there are some differences between them, and those differences grow larger, and which is why there comes to be a situation like some immigrants can become richer than some local people. So one of the this, I don't know whether this is a typical example, but if you know Mr. Dan Lok, I think he's one of the examples explaining such phenomenon. I don't think it's good to call those differences phenomenon, or the situation phenomenon. So Mr. Dan Lok maybe he's an influencer, and he's considerably rich, and he is originally from Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is a city in mainland China. So Hong Kong had been a territory of Great Britain, or Hong Kong had been a colony of Great Britain, and Hong Kong was returned to China, or mainland China. So of course, although there are many conflicts and there are many problems between Hong Kong and China, like the latest one is extradition bill, or extradition is one of the largest problems Hong Kong and mainland China has. Anyway, so Mr. Dan Lok is from such a city. So, like which it's possible for immigrants to succeed in developed countries. So at first I said so some immigrants can succeed and other local people can't succeed. So the situation I'm talking about is not the situation in developing country, but the situation in developed countries. So maybe each developed country in Europe has such kind of situation. Like some immigrants can succeed, and some immigrants could become richer than other local people. Such things frequently occur because people who work hard can become successors, or can become rich people. And maybe you can understand, because if you do not work, you can't get money, which is why you can become poorer, or you are going to suffer from poverty. Such a thing easily occurs if you cease to work, or if you stop working. So anyway, so I think most of you have your own jobs to do. So which is why there's no meaning in telling you that you should work hard, and you should work hard, and you should not stop working. So what I'd like you to know this time is that by following economic rules, or by creating as I have already told you, by creating some business team generating a lot of money, you can become one of such rich people. You can become one of such rich people by creating your own business scheme, for example. So of course, stock trading is another way to create your own wealth. Another way to create your own wealth is stock trading, or wealth management, or asset management. Like I picked up an example of stock trading, but if you have a lot of money, and if the real estate in your country are fine, I think one of the options is to to use or manage real estates. Like if you can afford to purchase some real estates, it's fine to use some loan for buying some houses. But if you can afford to, or if you're familiar with real estate field, I think piling money or piling wealth with real estate is one of the options to become rich. Anyway, so if you're living, this is a what this I created this episode for the local people living in developed countries, for example in Europe, developed countries in Europe, or developed countries in Americas or American continent, like developed countries in the American continent are Canada and the United States of America. So and there are other developed countries, like in the case of Oceania, Australia and New Zealand are developed countries, and in the case of Asia, so South Korea and Japan and Singapore are developed countries. Anyway, so if you're living in a developing country, not a developed country, but developing one. So if you are thinking of immigrating into a developed country, so I recommend you choosing a country where some famous rich people live in. So what I'm telling you is that, before telling you which country to choose, so I'd like you to investigate Forbes. Forbes present, maybe every year Forbes presents a ranking of the richest people all over the world. Like maybe some of you have heard that who is the richest all over the world. Like Mr. Bill Gates has been the richest person all over the world, and sometimes maybe Mr. Jeffrey Bezos became the richest person all over the world. Stuff like that is calculated or calculated by Forbes. I don't know who does such calculation for Forbes, but Forbes presents, or Forbes publishes some kind of ranking showing the richest people from the top first to top, for example, to the bottom of the list. So maybe of course the poorest person isn't ranked into the list. Of course, some people from as I could confirm, maybe more than 100 people are ranked into the ranking showing the richest people all over the world. Maybe 100 or some 100 and some people who are the richest all over the world. And some rich, more than 100 people, or 100 or some people are ranked into, or listed into the list showing the richest people all over the world. Anyway, so I recommend you checking that list and check out which country has who, which means of course the United States of America and China have a lot of rich people in the list, but there are some developed countries which are not ranked into the list showing the richest people all over the world, which was created by Forbes. So, for example, recently I checked out the list, and there was nobody from Great Britain. So for example, this list shows who is from which country. So there are many people from China, and there are many people from United States of America, and there are some people who from Germany, and there are some people who are from France, stuff like that. What I'd like you to know is that, the countries having some richest people all over the world are recommendable. So if you ask me, so whether India is recommendable or not, so India is a developing country, not a developed country, which is why I will recommend you immigrating into developed countries. So I don't tell you things about develop in India or China or other developing countries, but I recommend you immigrating into developed countries, because developed countries have developed countries have profound rules or profound regulations for protecting people living there. So of course, developing countries have social system, and there are many societies all over the world. But you can get some some you can get goods of high qualities, or you can get some securities. You can get some secure environments or secure situations from developed countries, which is why I recommend you living in developed countries. So going back to the original topic, so even immigrants can succeed, which is why the local people can succeed in developed countries. I think this is true. So to start with, you have to work hard, or you have to create some business schemes for generating money for you. But so but this is a case. This is a case to develop. This is a case to people living in developed countries. But if you live in developing country, so I recommend you immigrating into developed countries if you'd like to succeed. Of course, if you are Indian, it's possible to succeed in your country. But I don't know. I don't know the details about Indian societies, but it's tough to succeed, maybe, in India, which is why I recommend you immigrating into some developed countries, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.